before we could do anything, we want to first make sure we put some penetration oil on these screws, and especially on that corroded big nut. That's a flange nut. So we're going to spray that down. We want that to sit for a few hours so we could soak through the rust on the threads, and it will ease releasing. Let's start by disconnecting the throttle cable from the throttle valve. Then we have to disconnect its bracket from the plenum. Lay this to the side so we have access to these two vacuum hoses. This one is for the evap, and this one is for the throttle opening actuator. We are trying to remove this throttle opener actuator with its bracket. So we have to remove 3 Phillips screws, and these screws are P3 Phillips bit. So what I've gotten here is a tip of a P3 Phillips bit and a 1/4-inch drive ratchet. I'm going to put on this extension. So when you put this on, right, I don't recommend you use the ratchet. Maybe use a hammer, but you just want to tap on the screw a little. That's an effort to break the threads up inside the casting. So when we look below the throttle blade down here, we're going to see another 2 Phillips screws we have to get out of there. So when you're going to use this method right here, right, this is going to want to fall out on you like it just did. So the solution to that is I take a nice piece of tin from a plastic bag, I just stick it in there, and now it can't fall out. So when you're turning the screw, you have to apply pressure on this end. This way the tool does not slip off the screw. Once you use the penetration oil on the screw, it's going to be easy to remove. But if you don't use the penetration oil, they're going to strip the screw, and then you're going to have to go about it with a vice grip. We got to grab these screw. You see, a good thing is that when you have these tools with a magnetic tip, and the screw will just stay stuck to the tool. That's our bracket right here with the throttle opening valve. This has a spring in it, and it's operated by vacuum. So now we have room to release this EGR recirculating tube flange nut. go ahead and release this flange nut. I want to spray it a little more. Now you want to use the proper tool for this flange nut because it's attached to a tube and you don't want to damage the tube or break the flange. Some people like to use a vice grip on this. I don't recommend that you do. Instead, we're going to use this 30mm combination wrench. Simply going to place it on there, and you're going to stand from the front of the vehicle. You're going to grab the far end. There we go. So we have successfully released the flange nut from the EGR recirculation tube. And this is one simple method for removing the planium, this upper planium, from the engine. Now if you go to this video, you're going to see the complete removal for this planium. You could also add to your removal this part right here, because this is easier than removing these two bolts. By removing this flange now, we don't have to disconnect the EGR valve, all these vacuum hoses. We don't have to do none of that. All we have to do now is proceed by going to this video here and see how to remove the rest of the manifold. Most of the time this is the hardest part, and I've provided a remedy for you.